Hello and welcome to Wales at 6. I'm Andrea Byrne. One of Wales's most senior doctors says we need to have a debate over rationing services. Phil Banfield told ITV Wales that the resources can't keep up with the demand. In a moment we'll be getting an analysis from our health correspondent Rob Osborne, but first this is his report.
This leaflet is coming through your letterbox one day soon. Or maybe you've already had your copy.
It's almost 70 years since the first law was passed to create the National Health Service. And Iron Bevan's baby may look different today, but the principles remain the same. But what has changed is demand. It's going up year on year. And this man argues we need to make some tough choices. He's Phil Banfield, Welsh chair of the Doctors' Union, the BMA. And he wants politicians, the hospitals and the public to discuss rationing services.
The problem at the moment is that the demand for health services is outstripping the resource available. Our members would be supportive of a debate about rationing because if there isn't enough to go round, we need to decide what we can and can't produce.
I think we could work out what an Iron Bevan would have made of the idea of rationing services. This was the man, after all, who resigned from the government when they introduced prescription charges. But Phil Banfield wants us all to have a debate. Are we prepared to ration services, or are we prepared to pay more tax?
If it meant me putting my hand in my pocket and paying more tax, so be it.
What do you think of the idea of rationing services?
Well,
it'll have to come, I suppose. It'll have to come.
Think so?
yeah.
I think it will, because if they can't afford it, who's going to pay for it then?
And I don't agree with rationing anything at all, you know.
Would you be prepared to pay more tax for the NHS?
Yes, I certainly would if the service is going good, you know, like, you know, more doctors, more nurses.
What's clear is that you're not going to hear the words rationing come out of this man's mouth.
What's important is that we ask people to choose well. I think I would use that approach rather than rationing. We know that A&E demand has been rocketing, and we've seen incredibly high demand over the past 2 months, demand that no one could possibly predict. And I'd rather take that approach than say to people, well actually we're going to ration. What do? You can't ration A&E.
Nye Bevan had a vision of health free for everyone. Nobody has suggested changing that, but for some, even the thought of rationing feels like a betrayal of his founding principles.
Well, Rob is here. Why has Dr Banfield come out and said this then?
Because almost half of everything the Welsh Government has to spend on public services goes on health and social care. That is a huge amount of money, and the question is, how sustainable is it in the long term? You heard from him in my report saying, look, we have the resources, they're just not meeting demand. You heard the First Minister saying demand is increasing on A&E more and more and more each year. So he wants this debate now ahead of the election, because all the politicians from all the parties will be setting out their agenda, what they want to do, and I guarantee none of them want to talk about rationing services. Now, Phil Banfield isn't afraid to speak out. He's done so in the past, and he'll do so again tonight on Sharp End, 10:40 here on ITV, where you can hear a lot more about what he thinks.
An interesting watch, Rob. Thank you.